All right, welcome in. It is $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk. That means all plays, including ours, are going to be up on the site for just $5. Sometimes things work out like they did last Friday, or sometimes they work out like they did last night. For Tokyo, Brandon and I, we both had 5%ers, and they both won by a million runs. TB had the Rays. I was across the state with the Marlins, and they were both double-digit wins. So hopefully we've redeemed ourselves there, or at least I did. Of course, TB's had I think he had like a 4-0 day the last time I lost a 5%er on Friday. But yeah, 2-0 night in Major League Baseball for me. TB cashes his 5%. I'm going to go to you first, Bryan Leonard. How was your night? And then take us in to Blue Jays Yankees. That's going to be our feature game. That's on TBS for all of the country to see tonight. Blue Jays Yankees to you. How was your day last night?
It was okay. I split in baseball. I joined Brandon with the the Tampa Bay Rays, but I used the same play as I used in the parlay, San Francisco, and that was a no-show. It's going to happen. They got crushed. It was a bad pick, but it was an underdog, so I ended up breaking even. I did have the over in the hockey game, and I just needed that one more goal for Montreal, take a 3-0 lead. All of a sudden, you pull the goalies, and it easily goes over. It went to overtime, and that's one of the things I want to talk about today is what a great day for American sports yesterday. If you're a baseball fan, JT Ginn takes a no-hitter through 8 innings, brings him into the 9th, gives up a single and a home run, and they lose. So the guy's at one point sitting at a no-hitter, and then two pitches later or whatever, they lose the game. It reminded me of back when the Cleveland pitcher, Messick, had that deal going. They gave up the hit, should have pulled him then. Next guy gets a home run. The managers got to realize that could happen. If a guy loses a no-hitter in the 9th inning, something could happen. But it was a great day. It was a lot of fun for Oakland for 8 innings, or in the A's, and then they came off after that. And then basketball, one of the greatest game ones in a playoff series ever, double overtime for the 2 best teams in the NBA. Just a fantastic game. And then the hockey, Game 7 goes to overtime. Both those teams were as even as possible through the entire series, whether they had some ups and downs. It was a great time to be a sports fan yesterday. If you didn't enjoy watching sports yesterday, give it up, because that was some great, great sports for us, whether we're on the winning end or the losing end. Just a terrific day of viewing sports. I'm going to take a look at, as you mentioned, the baseball game today, and it's a big one. Toronto Cease at Warren for the Yankees. The wind's blowing out a little bit in Yankee Stadium today. They're expecting about 15% more home runs in this game. We've got 2 pitchers that have been very good on the season. Warren's really pitched very well for the Yankees, and I've talked about him in the past. He's been extremely good at home. Dylan Cease going for Toronto, another guy that's I really like Dylan Cease. I didn't like him coming to Toronto because of having to face the offenses he has to face here in this division. But the Red Sox have done nothing all season long. The Yankees, good hitting team, not great in sometimes, but this should be a really good game. Toronto at the Yankees. You always want to take a look at the bullpen situation when you're looking at games like this. And, Toronto Louis Varland did not pitch the last 2 days. Tyler Rogers pitched 2 of the last 3. But Hoffman had to pitch a little bit yesterday, and he threw 17 pitches. Fisher 27. So overall, the Toronto bullpen is in decent shape. They're still missing Alejandro Kirk, Addison Barger, and Nathan Lucas, and Santander's been out forever, but he should be back, I guess, after the All-Star break. But it'll be a while till they get that back. They did get some bad news on Jose Barrios, who's now having surgery. He was right there, right ready to come back. You see a lot of this happen, or a guy's right about to come back. They're talking about bringing him back. The same thing, with Scherzer right now, and in Bieber, they've been pushed back a little bit. But Toronto, I think, is going to have some offensive success here. They've got some guys hitting pretty well. The bottom of the order is really slumping, Jimenez and Valenzuela. But Valenzuela's really hit pretty well for them in a backup role. But once Kirk comes back, he'll be relegated to the bench. But the Yankees, or from a bullpen standpoint, they had a tougher day the last couple of days. They went with the bullpen game on Sunday. Bednar blew a save. Cruz pitched well, but Bednar did not pitch well again yesterday. Had to throw 36 pitches. So he's thrown roughly 60 pitches the last 2 days. He will not be available today. And that may be a good thing for the Yankees because he just has struggled lately. Cruz has been their better pitcher, but he's not going to be available. He's pitched 3 out of the last 4. So from a bullpen standpoint, Toronto's bullpen is in better shape than the Yankees. And I like what the Yankees hitters are doing right now. They're hitting pretty well, other than Ryan McMahon, who was really hot just a couple of weeks ago, and now he is really struggling. 402nd, and Austin Wills 391 the last 7 days. 2 guys that have done nothing. I like Toronto in this game a little bit, and I like the Toronto team total. Let me just take a quick look at that. The Toronto team total is you can get 3.5 out there at over at 140, or a 4.5 at plus 125, something to that range. That would be the way I would look at this one. I think we're going to see some runs here. Really concerned about the Yankees bullpen coming into this one.
Yeah, the old rehab setback. Carlos Santana just had one for the Diamondbacks. He was about ready to come back, and he injured himself on the rehab assignment. You see it all the time. Let's bring Tokyo Brandon in here. How's it going for you? And Blue Jays Yankees to you.
Going pretty good. I won my 5% play yesterday, so as you mentioned, and I have a 4% best bet up for $5 today in MLB. Looking at this one, Will Warren, man, if you look at his numbers against these Blue Jays, he's been smacked around real good. A lot of guys doing damage against him, including who was doing the most damage? Oh, George Springer. George Springer had a good game yesterday as well. And Dylan Cease is a pitcher I really like. His numbers against the batters he's facing today, fairly average. Nothing really stands out much. And despite the big names in the lineups, I got the Yankees in current form 21, and I got the Blue Jays 23. So neither team's really hitting great. Bullpen's kind of mediocre in current form. I give Toronto a slight edge here, but if you look at my Twitter X, I put out my strikeout projections earlier. I got Dylan Cease number 1 on the list. I got him projected 8 strikeouts, and I've got Will Warren projected 6. So you could use those for maybe a prop or so today. I probably won't play a side today, although I would lean Blue Jays if I had to, but I won't.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. Parlay was going to lose anyway yesterday, but I am kicking myself. I had Blue Jays 1.5 plus 1.5 as that was what I was going to go with in the parlay. Audible that the last second to the Nationals. Of course, the Blue Jays choked their lead away, came in and backdoored it to get the plus 1.5. The Nationals were covering the plus 1.5 the whole game and then gave up 10 runs in extra innings. But it didn't really end up making a difference for the parlay. The parlay was going to lose anyway. But we're going to try to hit it today. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this game. As far as this game is concerned, I lean toward the Blue Jays with Brian, echoing pretty much everything that he said. And for me personally, it's one of those things where I feel like I missed my opportunity a little bit. I like that plus 1.5 bet yesterday. Obviously, it hits. So now I'm less inclined to come back to them today. The final thing I'll say about this, though, the Blue Jays yesterday took a ton of money. If you market watch at all and you're interested in where sharp money is going, I know, Gianni comes on and we'll report where stuff is going, what he's seeing in his account, so on and so forth. I know a lot of people like that. Big time confirmed sharp money on the Blue Jays, like every which way yesterday. Some of those ways hit. If you had the plus 1.5, it hit, but the money line did not hit. So kind of makes me think they might be back today. That Blue Jays money line might be a sharp side if that's your thing. For me, kind of a coin flip. I'm out on this game. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, you mentioned Gianni, and a lot of people do like when he comes in and says where the lines have gone. That's good in retrospect, but if you're a bettor, that doesn't really help you because those are people who are betting numbers. And if you're betting a number and they like the number at minus 120 and now the line's minus 135, that does not help you at all in the future. It's good information to have, but don't chase. Do not chase, because that's the problem a lot of people have, is they chase what the wise guys had. Well, unless you're with the wise guys doing it at the same time, you're going to lose in the long run. So keep that in mind. It's a great source to have, but we talk all the time. You're playing numbers. You're not playing team.
Right.
Wise guys do the same thing that we do.
So what I'm saying, though, that is all true. That is all true. But you will notice in baseball, if these guys miss one day, they almost always come back the next day if it's the same series. Like, probably like 80% of the time. So what you're doing is saying, like, if you like the Blue Jays and you see a plus 120 out there, understand that that's probably not going to be there much longer. So yes, you don't want to chase it. You would have been chasing it yesterday because that moved considerably throughout the morning, but you might be able to sort of front run that now, take plus 120. That might be down to plus 105 an hour from now. That's sort of the point I was trying to make right there.
Yeah. And the reason being is they know most bettors can go by the starting pitchers, and they're going with the team matchups. So
Yes.
to them, that's why they come back with the rest of the series. And it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we do have some rare Tuesday day action that the people want to take a look at. And I couldn't have been a better call for me last night. I had to come on here and take a bunch of crap from you guys on Saturday morning after my Rockies no-showed because we couldn't get an out after a call was overturned and gave up 6 runs in the first inning, dead on arrival. But guess what? I got one to go in my favor last night because the Marlins, Tokyo Brandon, I actually thought, I was worried we had TB and I, like, the three of us don't share what we're on. It would be bad for, like, we just all independently do our own thing, and then we come talk on this show. And I put my play up for sale a little bit late yesterday, and I thought you were going to be on it too, because I know you've kind of liked Max Meyer in the past, and I was like, man, I hope we don't have the same 5%er. Turns out we didn't, but we both managed to have double-digit wins on our 5% play. The game we're going to talk about right now, TB, is Braves Marlins. The Marlins come through for me yesterday. They win 12-0. I pointed out that it was a really tough, flat spot for the Braves, coming off of like big series after big series after big series after big series, then having to go down and play a road game in sort of a dead environment in South Beach. Now these two teams come back for a day game, 4:10 p.m. Eastern. So this is a standalone game. The chat wants to know, are the Braves bouncing back here?
So, Adam, you can go first sometimes, you know. I know you're the host, but when we
they want to hear me talk less, so I want you to go first.
You know, after Brian and I go, there's not much meat on the bone left for you to talk about. But anyways, yeah, regarding this one, Martin Perez is one of those guys who Brian had it nailed at the beginning of the season. I was very anti Martin Perez, and he won a bet with him about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But now I've turned around. You know, baseball's a long season, and we can come out here and say, oh, so-and-so is not very good, etc. But what makes a good bettor is someone who goes with the flow, because baseball is a long season. Teams are going to be up. Teams are going to be down. The Yankees right now, they're not hitting well, but they got one of the best lineups in baseball. It doesn't mean they're ranked 15 in MLB. It means they're hitting 15 right now. So you got to ebb and flow. And that's the sign of an intelligent bettor. It's not the sign of someone who's wishy-washy. You got to be wishy-washy. You got to go back and forth. So I've turned around on Martin Perez. He's 2-2 with a 2.4 ERA or 2.25 ERA. That's pretty good stuff. Braxton Garrett was horrible to start the season, and in 56 at-bats against the Braves, he's actually got decent numbers. So which Braxton Garrett is going to show up? I'm going to bet it's probably going to be bad Braxton Garrett, because a team like the Braves are going to well, I'm not going to say they're going to, but they should explode after getting held down yesterday. You know, when you go down 8-0, 10-0, you know, you pretty much call off the dogs. You know, you're not out there. It's not like bases loaded with 1 out and you're down by 2 runs or something, you know. the wind is out of your sails. So it hit the reset button. Braves are still one of the best hitting teams in baseball, although in current form, I have the Braves ranked 19. So that's not very good. Their bullpen is very good, though. Their bullpen's been consistently top 5 the entire season. And Martin Perez pitching quite well. I got him above average. I got Braxton Garrett towards the bottom. So I think the Braves will probably bounce back here. But Miami is one of those teams, man. You know, they're kind of like the Washington Nationals, you know. They can sneak up and beat anybody just like they did yesterday. So are we going to get good Braxton Garrett or bad Braxton Garrett? That's the question.
You know, it's such an interesting game, Brian, because I'm really not worried about, yes, Braxton Garrett had a bad start. It is what it is. He's throwing the ball insanely well at AAA all year. So I think you really have to, you got to look at, what he's done all year and not so much worry that he got blown up in one start. But at the same time, you know, the Braves got totally embarrassed yesterday. Kind of a cool stat here. Now, this is a 4-game series, and they did split a 4-game series earlier this year. The Braves have only lost one series all season. It was on the road to Seattle, where they lost 2 close games. It's their only series lost this year. What does that tell you? They've been kind of good in the bounce back role, and no bigger sort of bounce back angle than getting your face kicked in 12-0 the night before.
Yeah, definitely. We've got the Braves in the Miami right now, Perez and Garrett, both lefties, by the way. And neither team hits lefties as well as they do righties. Keep that in mind. We're looking at Atlanta's about a 140 favorite right now, total of 8 to the over, 8.5 to the under. I expect this to be a lower scoring game. I like both starters. I think Perez has pitched very well this year, and he's not a guy I want sent out there every 5 or 6 days and get worn out, but they've been able to use him correctly. And if you look at what the Braves have done the last few years, they've taken a lot of veterans. Lopez has had success there. They've had a lot of guys that they've taken off the heap, and they've been able to get quality innings out of them. And congratulations to them. This is a good program. The Atlanta Braves are a great program. There's teams that are able to do that. We talk about Tampa Bay all the time. Pittsburgh for years was a place where people went to resurrect their career. I like what Atlanta has done from their pitching standpoint. So Perez and Garrett, as you mentioned, got bombed the first time out. I like Garrett. It happens. Happened to Robbie Ray yesterday. It happened. It's baseball. It happens. Sometimes you just don't have it. But I think both pitchers are going to have success here. When you take a look at the Braves, they are getting back their best hitter, Ronald Acuna Jr., although Drake Baldwin may argue with that. And Olson's had a really good season too, but Olson struggled as of late. But he'll be coming back today from the IL. And a lot of times your first week back from the IL is more of a feeling out period. He may not run like he had in the past just because he hasn't been healthy as of late. But this Atlanta team was knocking the cover off the ball for a long time. And the last 7 days, they've come back to light. Come back down a little bit here, and we're going to take advantage of that. From the bullpen situation, the best 3 guys in the bullpen, Iglesias, Suarez, and Lee, on the season, out of all pitchers in Major League Baseball, they ranked 10th, 11th, and 13th. In the last 2 weeks, they ranked 9th, 21st, and 16th. None of them have pitched the last 3 days. I would expect possibly all of them getting in this game if the Braves have a lead going late, and that's something that really will contribute to the under in this game. Also, from the Miami standpoint, Miami's a team that, they've got some guys at the top of the order that are really hitting for good averages, but they don't have a lot of power on this team. They've got, the top 4 guys. Xavier Edwards is on a home run string. I mean, I think he's already hit more home runs than he had last year already, and this is just in the last couple of weeks. He hit another one yesterday. Guy's been red hot, but you take a look at their bats in the lineup. Owen Cassie's probably their big power guy. Stowers, but other than that, they really don't have anybody. Even Joe Mack's not a hitter. He's a defensive guy. Their number 9 hitter hit a grand slam yesterday. He might go the rest of the season without hitting another one. This is not a team that are going to put up a lot of runs in a hurry off the home run. From a bullpen standpoint, Fairbanks has been back from the IL. He's been back a full week now, and he's only pitched one day, and that was last Saturday. So he's going to be ready. Calvin Faucher pitched 23 pitches yesterday. He had not pitched the last 3 games, so I would assume him to be ready. Tyler Phillips pitched 43 2 days ago. He's probably not going to be in there, but Bender's proven himself to be a major league pitcher, and he's going to be available. So they've got a lot of guys in the bullpen that they can work with here. I like both these bullpens in this game. And if you can get that 8.5, I think it's a decent bet to play under here in Miami. Miami gave up some runs, but hey, I like the situation here in this one. And the Braves coming off a bad outing offensively, they haven't hit that well for the last week or so. So it's just not one game.
Yeah, this will not make my card. Kind of with you. I think Braxton Garrett pitches better. He's, like I said, he's thrown the ball exceptionally well at AAA this year. That was one bad start, but I don't really want to fade the Braves coming off of a 12-0 loss when they've done nothing but win this year in these spots. So gonna sit that one out. We're gonna go to Mike Scott here. TB, I'm coming to you, and you're gonna pick a game based off Mike's question. So
okay.
First of all, very unlucky. I mean, I know it didn't matter. Parlay was cooked last night regardless, but a little bit unlucky for you to not get that over in the Astros-Twins game. Those two bullpens to not give up a run from the bottom of the 7th on is unlucky. Now, had you got in, I think there was 9s out there, juiced 9s. I'm sure that's the way if you played it for clients, you would have played it. But surprised that didn't get over 9.5 going to the bottom of the 7th. With 2 innings to just get one more run with these two poor bullpens. But Mike Scott says, good morning from Seattle. He wanted us to shout his Mariners out. Cole Emerson, first big league homer. Mariners get the win last night. But what he wants is a team total, or he said, I see a lot of overs out there tonight. Any game in particular, you see an overplay. So TB, I want you to let me know where you see the runs tonight. And let's talk about that game. What game to you looks like it's going to be high scoring?
So I'm going to be Captain Obvious here, but I think the Rockies game is probably going to be an over here. Texas's bullpen almost ranked dead last. Kumar Rocker, not a guy I've liked at all. And we've got Peralta going for Colorado. Not much info on him, but Colorado's one of those teams that hits the ball pretty well. So to me, this looks like an over all the way. Colorado's bullpen performing actually pretty well, but in that air, anyone is susceptible to get cranked. So this one looks like an over to me. I don't care if it's 10.5. I don't know what the number is. I didn't look. But I'm presuming I'm assuming it's 10.5. So I think that would fly over. Neither pitcher I don't have any faith in. I don't have faith in either pitcher, and I certainly don't have faith in that Texas bullpen. So yeah, I think Colorado might get the over by themselves.
Is that seriously only 10.5? I thought it would have been.
I'm not sure. Higher. I didn't look. I'm guessing.
I don't. Yeah, it is 10.5. It's 10.5 minus 110. Brian, I mean, I think TB very quickly found the over on the board today. I look at this. So Peralta's going to open. This is likely going to be Tanner Gordon. So remember a couple days ago, I said Chase Dolander hits the IL. That's the one thing that the Rockies, they really don't have. They had a pretty nice sort of rotation, and they do have some good bullpen arms. But they're not flush with pitching down at AAA. And so you're probably going to get Tanner Gordon, who I suppose on a one-off scenario can be okay, but he's not Dolander. That's a huge step down. And then last night, as someone that had to sit there and sweat that Rockies game, I had Rockies plus 1.5 as a 4% play last night. So a good day for me in Major League Baseball. But boy, did their bullpen nearly blow it. Fortunate to get out of the inning. And then hold on. So Brian, I'm going to go to you here. I kind of agree with Tokyo Brandon. I think there could be runs in this game.
The reason why it's 10.5 is because the wind is actually blowing in Coors Field, and you don't see that very often. They're expecting 1.27 runs over a normal situation, but the 14% is lower in runs than what you would normally see. The home runs are going to be expected to be down 8%, but your singles and doubles will still be the way they've been. And one of the things that wasn't talked about was Texas is like Seattle. We talked about this last year. The Seattle pitchers pitching at home look like they're great. Then they go on the road and their ERA is a full run higher. That's the way Texas has been. Texas pitching in that ballpark and lately, the last couple of years, has been a really big pitching ballpark. So you get these guys. Yesterday, Eovaldi was terrific. He was great. He's one of the elite pitchers in baseball, probably one of your top 25 pitchers in baseball. But Texas, the bats, when they get away from Texas, they're not bad. They're actually ranked 23rd in WRC plus on the season, which there's 30 teams. But if you're playing half of your games in the best pitching ballpark in baseball, one of the top three, along with Seattle and the Mets, your hitting is going to be overlooked when you go on the road, which is one of the reasons why the Mets got that big 10 run 10th inning or whatever they had yesterday. When these teams go on the road, you get some value in it because a lot of people will look at that base number and say, "Oh, they're not a good hitting team." But when they're away from the pitcher's ballpark, you could see it. So I have no problem with the over in this game, even though the wind is blowing in a little bit, because I don't think Colorado's a very good pitching team, and especially the bullpen. And we don't, as you pointed out, we don't know how long the starter's going to go. He may just go an inning or so. We'll have to see how it goes, but I can't disagree with it. I kind of like this one over as well.
Yeah, and just one more thing here on the Rangers side. Interesting dynamic here. So the Rangers have had one of the best bullpens in baseball all year. But Brian, you made the point of how they accumulate numbers at home in a good pitcher's park. Interesting dynamic with the pitching. Mackenzie Gore only lasted one inning last night. He was out after the first inning. Was fortunate to only give up 2 runs. He probably should have gave up 6 in the first inning. Got very lucky to get out of that. But they needed to go to. So the way the game played out, they got to the end and probably thought that they could win it because they started to come back, which meant they used Cole Winn. They used Jacob Junis. They used 5 of their relievers. Peyton Gray won't pitch today. He was the bulk guy through 44 pitches. But the point is, this is the bullpen's been the Rangers' strength. They haven't necessarily hit the ball well. And now you're talking about a Rockies team that's going to roll Tanner Gordon out there, who could very well give up 6-7 runs on his own, and a Rangers team that, Kumar Rocker, when was the last time he pitched at altitude? I'm sure it's happened before, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. And then the bullpen that just used 5 guys, that number feels low. I had this 11.9. So TB, I'm with you there on the over. I think this is a really good call. All right, let's head back to the chat right here. All right, we can go to this one.
It's $5 Tuesday, everyone. Everything on WagerTalk.com is either $5 or free, except 5% plays. Most cappers don't put out a 5% play today, though, because it's hard to sell your 5% play when everyone's selling stuff for free or $5. So,
yeah, I've done it. If I have one, I'll put it out. But it's like, I still think people, it is full price, but people still want the 5% plays. I do not think I'm going to have a 5%er today. We both hit our 5%ers yesterday. Tokyo Brandon, you hit with this team. So to you, Jose Perez says these Rays are no joke. Yeah, they're 31-15 now. They win huge again yesterday. So let's talk Rays Orioles. Are you going back to the well here, Tokyo Brandon?
So we've got Bradish going against Jax here. You're right. The Rays are no joke. I got them hitting number 4 in MLB right now. Bullpen, not so great. Jax pitching quite well. Bradish pitching quite well as well. I really don't have a read on this game. I prefer not to go right back to Tampa Bay, even though they're hitting really well. And I got the Orioles, though. They're either mediocre or better than mediocre at everything across the board. Also, Jax is weird because I got him ranked fairly high. However, when I look at his walk ratio, it's bad. he's walking way too many people. So I would be a little trepidatious going back to the Rays today, even though I think they're the better team.
Brian, I think that's a good thing to point out. Last time out was probably the longest outing of his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, it's in recent memory, of course, the Rays want to stretch him into a starter. And yeah, 4 walks. So he was pretty much unhittable last time out against the Jays, but that's kind of a thing that I can see, like reliever moving to a starter. Guy's got nasty stuff. Suddenly he's having to go second time through the order. Do you think there's anything to that? How have you felt about Jax as a starter so far?
Yeah, I thought he looked really good. He's not as dominant of a strikeout guy. I'm only having the site that I use only has him at 1.5 walks today. I think that was just one bad game. He's not a guy that does walk a ton of players. He may not go the full 5 innings, but these Baltimore bats have cooled down a little bit. Now Baltimore is going to have Jackson Holliday. I expect him to be back in the lineup today. He came back from the IL, did not play yesterday. It's probably a good thing is Jeremiah Jackson had another good day at second base, which he hadn't done very much of lately. He's fallen off the cliff, but Blaze Alexander came in and had a good game. He hit a home run last night. So, the Baltimore offense, other than Henderson and Ward, who are really good, and Rushman's been very good. Overall, they've been a little bit disappointing this season. They're not as good as what I thought they'd be. And from a bullpen standpoint, none of their back 3 guys pitched yesterday. In fact, they've only pitched once all week. So I would expect the Baltimore bullpen to be in pretty good shape here. And Tampa Bay is a team that if we could play an under in and get a decent number, that's where I always look. Griffin Jax is the last 14 days. He's rated as the number 72nd pitcher. Remember on the season when he started as a reliever, he really struggled early on. He's the 137th pitching right now for the season. He was about the 350s or something earlier. So he's pitching a lot better now than he was before. He's a good guy, a good starter. And they have guys out there. Martinez has been great this year. Rasmussen is who he is. McClanahan's been fantastic. So they've got a really good starting pitching rotation. Baker didn't have to pitch last night. Seymour didn't pitch. Kelly didn't pitch, and Hunter Biggie, who he pitched yesterday, but he's only pitched one out of the last 2 days. Both bullpens are in pretty good shape here. We're getting a total of a 7.5. I don't think either team is that great of an offense right now, so I kind of like the under. Bradish turned. I hate to jump and say he's back. I'm not going to say that. But he looked like the old Bradish last time out. Who knows if that's going to stay? A lot of times pitchers get that one start and then they fall back. But I like him in this game, and I like Jax in the total of 7.5. I could see a low-scoring game here.
Brian, I'm going to say that. I'm going to use the Orioles for my parlay. I think it's time to sell the Rays. They've won so many close games. I get they're playing great ball. Yes, they had an outburst last night, but they have to come back to the pack a little bit. This team is just not good enough to remain 16 games over 500. They're gonna the second this offense cools a little bit, I think they could lose 8 of 9. They could have one of those runs. I'm not saying it definitely starts here, but to your point on Bradish, this is now back-to-back starts. Of course, the start before 10 strikeouts over 7 innings. Last time out against the Yankees, 6 shutout. I kind of do think he's back. That's always what I've expected to see from him. I give him the edge in starting pitching. And then, of course, you want to just talk about the Orioles. We've seen this a couple times over the last week. Team gets totally embarrassed. I think about the Reds come out the next day, win big after getting embarrassed a couple times by the Nationals in that series. And then, of course, last night, Orioles. A lot of people thought the Orioles were going to win that game. Obviously, TB did, and he was right about that. But just to get torched like that, I don't think the Orioles should be an underdog with Bradish on the mound here. So that is going to be my parlay leg. Brian, are they still underdogs is my question to you. I saw them taking a little bit of money.
Yeah. By the way, Tampa Bay is by far the luckiest team in baseball. They've got an 8.6 more wins than what they should have. So, yeah, definitely. But I'm not going to stand in their way until they do start losing. I'm not gonna catch the falling knife, as they say. not a big believer of that, but you take a look at the line. We've got Baltimore anywhere from a plus 100 to a plus 108, 110 underdog. You can get them at plus 105 at least just about everywhere. There's a couple plus 100s, but I think plus 105 is out there, and that's a lot of places have that right now.
Yeah, there's like 5 games that are probably client play potentials today. I would say for me, definitely won't be all 5. The Orioles is on that list, so do what you will with that. It's a game that I'll absolutely be looking at. It's just, again, I make them a favorite. They're an underdog. I like Bradish. I think he's a better starter, so I'm going to use that for the parlay. Tokyo Brandon, I'm going to you. What game do you want to go to for the parlay here?
I think I'm going to go to the Dodgers game. I got Emmett Sheehan, one of the best pitchers in MLB. He's in my top 10 of all 250 pitchers. I like his numbers. I like the fact that LA's bullpen is neck and neck with San Diego's at the moment. And Ohtani's heating up a little bit, which, up to now, Pages and Muncy have been carrying the load. I've said it all along. If the Dodgers can get their big 3, Ohtani, Freeman, and Betts, if they can get those guys, and Teoscar Hernandez, if those guys start hitting and Pages is still batting cleanup, hitting over 300, this team is going to be absolutely lethal. And with one of the best pitchers in MLB on the mound against a guy I really don't like in Griffin Canning, I think the Dodgers here. The one red flag for me is that they won yesterday in pretty convincing fashion. So that's kind of a red flag, but it's the Dodgers, so I'm not gonna hold that. I'm not gonna hold winning against them. Let's put it that way. So I'll go with the Dodgers here.
All right, Brian, TB on the Dodgers. Kind of a, it's not on national TV here in this country tonight. It might be on the network, but certainly feature game we should talk about. So Padres do get it done 1-0 yesterday. They win a close game. Do you like to sort of go against the Padres after they win a close game? Use some of their top bullpen arms?
Sorry, my mistake. I said the Dodgers won. Yeah, you're right. My mistake. I like the Dodgers even better than they lost yesterday.
Yeah, lost 1-0 yesterday. We talked about Michael King on this show. He was great.
My mistake.
And the Padres ended up winning the game 1-0. So Brian, to you, Padres, Dodgers, anything to add on this one?
Yeah, Miller actually looked like a human last night. And he hasn't been pitching as well lately, but remember when he was striking out everybody he was facing? He was awesome. He's still the best in baseball by a pretty large margin, but I still like the San Diego bullpen a little bit better here. Canning will get a better effort than what we saw last time out for Canning. He's a little bit rusty, whatever, but I find no fault in playing Sheehan. I will say that the line is a little bit higher than what I would like on the Dodgers in this game, but I can't fault the pitching matchup here with Sheehan on the mound against Canning. Maybe a first 5 is probably a way to go in that one, but yeah, I've got no reason not to go against the Dodgers here. The line, if you're playing the Dodgers right now, you're looking at basically 155 out there. There is a couple of 150s, but mostly 155s, and your total is 8.5 in this one. So the Dodgers minus 155. For my part of the parlay here, since we're in that part of the show, I'm going to go back to the Mets in Washington in this one. McLean's on the road against Foster Griffin the lefty against the Mets. We saw what the Mets did. The game is 6-6. You're in pretty good shape for Washington. All of a sudden, they fall apart. That bullpen is what the bullpen is, and they give up 10 runs. The Yankees walk it off. The Mets walk it off. The Mets are feeling great right now. They've got their best pitcher on the mound. Yeah, this is a good time to go against them a little bit. I like Washington plus the half a run in the first 5. I think there's value in there. Griffin has been a guy who has been a moneymaker so far this year. And if you take a look at in the first 5 innings of this game, you can get Griffin and the Washington Nationals, who we like to play in the first 5 innings. They've been a big moneymaker for us. You can get them plus a half a run at minus 120. I see as low as minus 117 out there. So it's a situation where I like Washington the first half of this game. Second half, I like the Mets bullpen a lot more than I like Washington's. But in the first half of this game, I'll take Washington with Griffin against McLean, and I will take the plus a half a run because I think it'll be a low scoring, maybe a 2-2 in the first 5. Give me the plus a half at minus 120.
Plus a half a run. You said plus a half for the first 5 is minus 120. Tokyo Brandon, I'm going to come to you for your opinion on this game. I love Nolan McLean. He's my guy. Got to see him pitch a bunch here in Syracuse. I've been hyping him up since the day he stepped foot in the majors. I feel like I've been mostly pretty accurate about like how dominant he was, had the potential to be, and he's been. But boy, do I want to run it back with the Nationals here. That's enough. You guys have found another one that's on my sort of short list of targets for the day. Nationals plus 1.5. Listen, clearly the right play yesterday. You never know what's going to happen when you get to the 12th inning or whatever, and you've got ghost runners. 10 run. That was insane. A 10-run inning. Ghost runner fueled 10-run inning, Tokyo Brandon. But I kind of want to take that plus 1.5 with the Nats again here. Haven't done it yet. Want to see what you have to say first.
Okay, I guess I'll be the devil's advocate here because I was almost going to go with the Mets for my parlay leg because I like Nolan McLean a lot. He's top 10 in MLB right now according to my rankings. Bullpen discrepancy huge, or as they say in New York, huge. So better pitcher, better bullpen. Washington is hitting better than the Mets right now, but the Mets are still a top 10 hitting team in current form. So that's enough for me to say I like the Mets, but I wouldn't play them at minus 150 where they're at right now or minus 148 or something. I would like them around minus 125, 130. So I'm not going to play them, but I was very close to making this my parlay leg.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, and I fully understand the guy's a great pitcher. The Mets are hot right now. I fully understand it. But the Mets bullpen, since they've been winning so often, all their best arms have to be used. And Williams has pitched 2 out of the last 3, Weaver 2 out of the last 3, Raley 2 out of the last 3, Brazelbaum 2 out of the last 3. So, and then they had Warren had to pitch 28 and Kimball 24 yesterday and Tobias Myers 25. So their bullpen is not in the greatest shape. So, it's still better than Washington's is.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'll take that over Washington any day, though.
Yeah, anytime you win and it's 6-6 through 9, they had to go through a lot of their best pitchers, even yesterday with a 10-run win or whatever. But I fully understand. It's a situation where I think the starter for Washington can match what the great pitcher for the Mets has done in the first 5.
Yeah, I was going to say for me, I still really like McLean, but I like the Nats starter as well. So I'm with you, Brian. I'd look more for him to just be sort of neck and neck. And, I'll go back to what I said yesterday because I see some of the comments in the chat are like, well, it's the Nats bullpen. It's like, listen, you know that going in. So part of my rationale yesterday with the Nationals plus 1.5 was like that's all known. And that game went to the 12th inning. Okay. So like, if I was to tell you were going to get to the 9th inning or like the end of regulation, if you will, with Nats plus 1.5, I think you'd probably take that. Like if I was to be like, hey, here's Nationals plus 1.5, this game's going to be tied going into the 9th. I think anyone would take that. And so the fact that it happened in the 12th, it means the 10th inning had to match the 11th inning where the Mets scored. They couldn't just get 3 outs and end it right there. So really unlucky to lose that if you played it with the Nationals yesterday. But again, a 16-7 score line probably skewing this even further because that was not a blowout type game. It was a close game. I think this is going to be a close game. And hopefully for Brian's sake, it's close enough early because if it's tied after 5, we're moving on. That's a winner right there.
It's a winner.
It's all we can hope for. Hopefully all winners. Tokyo Brandon had a nice 5% winner yesterday. He has a 4% play for sale. It's just $5 as part of $5 Tuesday. I will have the same. My 4%er will be up within the next hour and a half, and that will be just $5. Brian, anything going on in the playoffs or for you on the basis tonight?
Yeah, I did put out a playoff play in the NBA. Been very good in that regard. I put that up for clients. I'm not going to sell it on the site. You'd have to get the full package for the day to get that. But yeah, I've got my 5% play up early. It was a game we haven't talked about, and I really like it. So normally I wait until a little bit later to put up my my plays, but I wanted to get the line that's there right now. And as we talked about earlier, lines move up and down as the day goes. So you want to grab that as soon as you can, get the best line possible. But it's up there now. I don't know if I'll come up with any more, but there's a couple of other games I'm looking at also.
We have this is very much a bounce back parlay today because the three teams that we put on in the parlay, either they lost a heartbreaker or in my case, they lost by 100 runs. So let's see if these three teams can bounce back. My leg's going to be Orioles on the money line plus 105. Of course, they got destroyed last night by the Rays. So we're hoping the Orioles show up today and bounce back. Tokyo Brandon is taking the Dodgers off of a tough 1-0 loss to turn around and get the win today. And then Brian's going to go with the Nationals, who lost in extras last night, to just keep this close enough through the first 5 innings. Nationals plus 1.5.
Plus,
I'm sorry.
Plus
yeah, like that. Nationals first 5 plus a half minus 120. So that 3-teamer, Orioles plus 105 full game, Dodgers minus 155 full game, and then first 5 on the Nats play plus a half a run minus 120. That is our 3-teamer for today. That hopefully gets us back in the win column. We're still a little bit ahead, even with last night's loss. We are still ahead on these parlays, plus 1.6 units on the year for the parlay. So let's add some more today. Don't forget, it's $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk. Every play on the site that's not a 5%er will be up for sale for just $5. And the three of us will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern for more total bases. See everyone then. Good luck on this Tuesday. Have a great day.